Joining us now, one of 7 candidates for the Lieutenant Governor nomination on the Republican side for Virginia, businessman and entrepreneur Pete Snyder. Pete, great to have you with us.
Hey, John, thanks for having me.
I want to get your first comment, Pete, on this. We just had Sean Kenny on. He's the political director of the website Bearing Drift, of which I'm a weekly contributor on. And we asked Sean point blank, now that we have a new survey out, basically shows the Virginia gubernatorial race tied. We said, Sean, look, at the end of the day, which of these 7 lieutenant governor candidates are going to help the ticket, which are going to hurt the ticket? And Sean's analysis was that you were one of 3 candidates that would actually help the ticket. How do you respond to that? And is Sean right?
Hey, John, I'll take it where I can get it. No, I appreciate sentiments like that. Look, if you look at the entire field, on the Republican and Democratic side, I'm the only proven job creator in the whole race, for any of the offices. Some good, fine men and women running, but jobs in the economy are the number one issue, not only in Virginia but in America. And I'm the only person with a proven business background that's been a job creator. And an innovator that can get under the hood of the Commonwealth of Virginia and help this economy to be moving along. And I think I'd be a great partner in conservative reform with Ken Cuccinelli. And that's really what the Commonwealth needs right now. You look at Terry McAuliffe. I mean, he's a good guy, nice guy. He's been a political fundraiser all his life. Kind of remade himself into a business guy, and he had an opportunity in starting his new company to create jobs here in Virginia, and he decided to do it in Mississippi. I mean, that's just flat out wrong. He simply doesn't understand the needs of Virginia. I hope and think that I would be a great asset to a ticket with Ken Cuccinelli, and we're going to win in the fall, no doubt about it.
You know, Pete, one of the themes of your campaign that we followed has been big ideas. You're always going around saying, hey, I got big ideas. I'm the guy with the big ideas. What are they?
It's very simple, John. It's very simple. Sometimes people try to make politics and government not to be some complex Byzantine process. At the end of the day, voters and taxpayers want people to solve their problems. So as an innovator, I took a good, hard look at what was going on, what was going right, and what was going wrong in Virginia, and came up with 3 major areas that I think are going to impact the Commonwealth for decades to come. I don't like to play small ball. I'm not in this just to see my name in lights and shoot. I gave up a TV contract with Fox News to run for lieutenant governor to this. Lieutenant governor of Virginia gets far less notoriety and publicity than being on Fox News 12 times a week. So, I'm not in it for glory. I'm in it for really fixing a state that I care about and love very much, because I believe that not only the Commonwealth, but the country is at a crossroads. First and foremost, education reform. I've been involved in the education reform movement for over 15 years, really due to my mom stepping in and getting me out of a school where I was being really left behind, and getting me to a school where teachers actually cared and took time with me. Completely changed my life. In Virginia, if Charles Dickens were looking at it, he'd say we have some of the best schools in the country, but we also have some of the worst, John. And the only solution that we've had so far is just to throw more money at them. That's not right. If you look down in New Orleans, there's an education revolution happening down there. And why is that? Well, it's because Hurricane Katrina literally blew away all the schools. Blew them all away. The government couldn't get up and running quickly enough to get those schools back going. So they didn't want to, but they were forced to turn to the private sector. Now 85% of the schools in New Orleans are charter schools. Test scores, surprise, surprise, are going through the roof. Children are learning, and for the first time in 150 years, families are moving into New Orleans for their schools, not away. Virginia can lead in education. I'm an alum of the College of William & Mary, the first institute of higher education in the New World. Virginia's led in education before. It can certainly lead again, but we need to be applying free market principles like choice in charter schools to our education system in Virginia.
You know, if you get to the Louisiana example, it's a pretty good one. Certainly Katrina was the catalyst of that, but the reality of it is, though, now, after they had to reignite their education system in New Orleans, the engine behind that, of the reforms that you just said, has been Governor Bobby Jindal. So my question would be, you're at the bottom of the ticket, let's say you guys win, does the Attorney General share your positions on this?
Ken Cuccinelli is a good conservative. He certainly believes that there should be more free market principles in education. I know he believes that the education special interest teachers unions have not been serving our schools well, and I'm certain that he would be for making sure that we actually have education reform in Virginia. Ken Cuccinelli is a reformer on a lot of different levels. He's going to be pushing for tax reform. Education reform fits right into that. That's at heart, that's what he is. He's a conservative and he's a reformer. And that's why we're going to get along beautifully.
So on the jobs front, Pete, we cover this stuff pretty in depth. You got a lot of people running around Virginia beating their chest saying, I'm a jobs creator. Mm-hmm. You're one of them. Not saying that you're beating your chest, but you're certainly saying that. I'm a jobs creator. Well, if you were to be elected lieutenant governor, let's really get down, Pete, to brass tacks. What are you going to do specifically that's going to create the environment to help somebody find a job or have a job? And
Don, you just nailed it. You just nailed it
really
on the head.
Specific.
Because as an entrepreneur, I know firsthand from being out there and fighting against local, state, and federal regulations and red tape, that government doesn't create jobs. Government's role is not to be the job creator. Government's role is not to be picking winners and losers. Government can only create an environment that will either help through low taxes, low regulatory environment, and a good workforce from good schools, or hinder job creation. And what I want to do very, very specifically, one of our big ideas, is to eliminate the corporate income tax in Virginia. To get rid of that, open up the floodgates to small fry entrepreneurs like me, but also go after the medium and large-sized businesses as well. John, other southeastern states are getting rid of the corporate income tax. I believe Virginia needs to do it to remain competitive. We get rid of that one, we can make sure that Virginia is a beacon for entrepreneurs and job creators. And this is something that's not only going to impact Virginia for the next couple of years, the next 4 years, which is, obviously what I'm gunning for and running for lieutenant governor, but I want this to make an impact for decades to come. That's why you play. You play to play big.
Pete, I always throw one hardball at you. This time we're going to talk about social issues. You were part of a public workshop that examined issues relating to the marketing of violent entertainment to children that was sponsored by the Federal Trade Commission. And I want to set this up very clearly. In the past, your company, New Media Strategies, has had clients that are inclusive of some motion picture and video game production companies in Hollywood, and yet you are a very low-regulation kind of guy. How would you approach the idea of limiting or re-rating or making it more clear to parents how violent video games can affect what may turn out to be violent behavior later on as it goes to the use of firearms?
Sure, Steve. Look, I participated in that panel to be talking about the need for voluntary industry pressures to be making sure that parents knew exactly what their children were seeing. I am a small C conservative. I do not believe in a nanny state. That said, in my work with the entertainment industry, we tried to make sure that there was truth in advertising to what we were doing. That's the beauty of digital marketing, which is you can segment to audiences and let them know exactly what they're going to get. And we believe in this day and age of technology and information everywhere that every industry should be abundantly clear about what packaging or what's either in food products or what's either in video games or in films. And your clients and your customers at the end of the day appreciate that. So I am all for more disclosure when it comes to entertainment. I think the industry, which is actually one of the strongest in the country, benefits from that. And we're in a day and age where you have information everywhere. But I am not for a nanny state society where government's stepping in at every single level and telling and shutting down businesses and also telling individuals treading on their civil liberties what they can and can't do.
So as a small C conservative, very clearly, more education, less regulation, and as it goes to gun control, do you believe in the same fashion as Dan Bongino, who may be running for the governorship in Maryland as a Republican, that there is no such thing as gun control, that the Second Amendment stands on its own?
Look, the Second Amendment was written by a Virginian. Virginians cherish their civil liberties and the Bill of Rights, and I think it was beautifully worded and written, and needs to be defended, Steve, to the absolute hilt. Period.
There you go, John.
Hey, Pete, I want to get back to the race here for a second. And yesterday we interviewed on our show Jim Dean, the brother of Howard Dean, chairman of Democracy for America. I thought it was very telling that Howard Dean's organization, now DFA is a powerhouse. They are the number one, the biggest partisan political action committee in the United States. They're coming to Virginia. They're weighing in. They've picked 5 House races, and they're going to, again, try to make this a national race. If you're the nominee for lieutenant governor, how are you going to fight back to these national groups coming in like DFA and basically saying, hey, they got a bunch of right-wing wackos in there?
John, that you just made my heart flutter in thinking about running against Howard Dean in 2013 in the Commonwealth of Virginia. I would like nothing more than to have Howard Dean come into Virginia. I mean, he lives in Washington now, so come into Virginia and campaign every single day out there on the trail. I think that would be a boon for our Republican ticket. Howard Dean and his values are completely out of touch and completely out of step, and I'm happy to have him. And I think of the 1,000,001 states that he screamed, I think he forgot Virginia. So I think that may even tweak the liberals who would usually like him.
Oh, what a great point! Pete, we're up against the clock here. I want to make sure people know that your application, the one that you developed, called I'm In. Again, I'mIn2013.com is nonpartisan. It's not candidate specific. And if people need more information about where they need to go to still become a convention delegate around the state, that's the place to go. I'm In 2013. And please, of course, give your campaign website.
It's PeteSnyder.com, Pete, SNYDER.com. And, we're party builders, Steve and John. We want to make sure that we have as many Virginians as possible at that convention on May 18th. I feel good about it. We're going to win this thing. We're going to have big, bold, conservative ideas across the Commonwealth, and let's win in November.